Hey, I'm Josh Kaplowitz. I'm a senior counsel at Troutman Pepper Locke.
And I'm Morgan Gerard, an associate at Troutman Pepper Locke. And recently we attended the ACP Siting and Permitting Conference in Seattle. And we wanted to run through our takeaways from the conference and also just catch up a little bit.
And so I'm fairly new to the firm, legacy Locke Lord, and it was great to, even though we're in the same office, it was great to sort of go across the country and get to spend time with you and Andrea and Ben and sort of bond with the renewable energy team in an exotic locale, which again,
Seattle.
how I would consider Seattle.
Yeah, no, it was great. And, it was very much helped by the fact that we got nice weather. Um,
Yeah,
and that sells the trip.
it
Yeah,
would have been great. It would have been great if ACP had just held the conference outdoors. I think would be all set.
it would have it would have worked.
For me, it was kind of getting integrated with an industry that I've been involved with on the periphery, but have only just, recently started to do a lot more intensive work for. So really the best part was seeing, clients that we had, worked with, over Zoom and virtually, getting to see them in person, have dinner with them, sidebar conversations. Um, Setting aside the panels, which I thought were quite good, that to me is sort of the heart of conferences, is having those sort of one-on-one interactions, and it was really really well attended, and
Yeah.
that helped. It was just a packed house with a lot more energy than even I was expecting. Pretty uh, renewable permitting gets me pretty excited. So.
No, really agree. I mean, it was a much bigger conference than what I was expecting and very well attended. The panels were very well attended. And there was a lot of, what's the right word, good talent at the front of the room presenting. I really liked, I guess, as a lawyer, hearing from the developers, the challenges they have with their projects, moving their projects forward, and the internal frustrations that they have that we don't really get to see when we're trying to help them with the process. So I thought that was really insightful, and I really enjoyed hearing from them. There are things that I found educational. There were things that I think captured the trend, but a couple of trends I thought were really interesting were one huge focus on biodiversity and projects, promoting biodiversity. I thought that was very intriguing. That companies are setting biodiversity goals. And, as the lawyers, I start wondering, what does that mean? How do you measure those metrics? So yeah, uh, very, very interesting. How about you? Anything that you think was a trend that was spotted at the conference?
Well, there was a bit of a duality in terms of how people viewed the current political climate, right? So, probably the panel that stuck out for me the most was the one sort of talking about all the executive actions. Got to give a shout out to our colleague, Mr. Ben Cowan, for his excellent job on sitting on that panel. I have to say, I was like one of the last people to get into the room. It was
Yeah, yeah,
such a packed
standing room
house.
only.
So if there was any indication of sort of what was really on the forefront of everyone's mind, it was that, sort of what are the knock-on effects of these executive actions. And so yeah, I mean, I would say that plus a lot of the side conversations really kind of focused on that, obviously through the lens of what everyone's going through with their projects on a day-to-day basis. But that's the one that really sort of stuck out to me.
Yeah, I agree. That was kind of like the panel highlight. Um, but there were a couple of other, I think, micro trends that were kicking around. So much focus, at least that I saw, on battery storage and fire. Thought that was very interesting after Moss Landing, and how developers are starting to think about that and grapple with that issue, and how investors are getting much more interested in that issue. Um, so that was a big one for me. Um, and then side conversations with folks, so much interest around Inflation Reduction Act and energy communities brownfield qualification. That just wasn't a panel, but seemed to be very top of mind in the folks that I was talking to. How about you? Anything top of mind in the folks that you were talking to?
Yeah, so first off, share your surprise that energy communities wasn't an issue. We'll have to
Yeah, we'll have to do a
let the
panel. Yeah.
gotta let the fine folks at ACP know that that should be a panel next year. Um, yeah, I mean, sort of building off of what I was saying about sort of the uncertainty with federal policy, it was interesting to see to go to some of the state policy
Mm,
panels. So I
yes.
saw it was this. I think this was actually one of the last panels on. It was a panel full of folks from Minnesota talking about their permitting reform efforts and how they were able to streamline wind and solar siting the wind and solar siting process, and sort of furiously taking notes on like lessons that we could learn in all the many other states that we practice in. With so much uncertainty at the federal level, um, people are redesigning their projects to avoid federal permitting and really focus on with the state level permitting being the sort of primary barrier to getting your approvals and being able to get financing. I think a lot of attention is going to shift to how we can do better at the state level and get these projects moving in a more efficient fashion, and sort of learning how a state kind of on the vanguard of that managed to do it while keeping stakeholders very involved. I think was really useful, and those learnings I think can be applied to again a lot of the states in which we operate.
Yeah, I completely agree. And among the, I think, other points of hot discussion to dovetail off of what you're saying, is community engagement, tribal engagement, and dealing with local stakeholders and how you communicate your message to the people around you and the people around your project, and being a good community steward. And I think that really is going to focus in on the states and getting state approvals. So yeah, I think that was a major, major point.
It gave me hope. I mean, it's, I'm not gonna lie, it's tough being in renewable energy and being here in DC, but getting outside of DC and seeing, and actually meeting the folks that are on the ground making these projects happen, still having a lot of enthusiasm and success, and sharing that with everyone, I think was a big boost to the spirits and made me feel like, renewable energy, I think can not just survive but thrive in the next in the next 4 years.
Yeah, I agree. It was nice to hear about all the projects that are kicking off, all the projects in the pipeline. Um, you know, People really getting their hands dirty and putting developments together. And continuing to invest in a clean energy future. It's really nice to be out there and meeting all those people.
Absolutely. And yeah, no, and I'll wrap it up by just reiterating how great it was to sort of be around the rest of the renewable energy team, or at least most of it. And yeah, really look forward to future conference opportunities.